If you've been thinking about buying a BMW and you've heard nothing but horror stories about oil leaking, this is the video for you. Now BMWs like to leak oil, and why? Why is the reason for that? Is because their normal rubber gaskets fail over time, and by the time you actually own a used BMW, that time is already up. Gaskets could start leaking at 75,000 miles. You got water pumps failing at 70,000 miles. So you'll have a lot of other gaskets failing at 100,000 miles. So if you think about ownership of who had the car first, by the time you own it, you're going to be in that prime window as far as oil leaks happening on your car. So I have a lot of DIYs here on my channel to help you along the way on your BMW. Check out my DIY playlist here above. And if you have oil leaking within your engine bay and you don't know exactly which part is actually leaking, I just recently switched over to an oil that's been on for a little while now, but it's something that I feel like can help you. Now, I run a liquid moly, so that's the oil I've been running for almost 2 years now. I switched over to their Molygen. So the Molygen has a coloring agent within it, so that way when you take a UV light to it, you can actually see where it's leaking at. I did change my oil to run Molygen here about 3.5-4 weeks ago, and we're gonna see if the leak that I was talking about a couple months ago, is it coming from my oil lines, or I may have another gasket leaking that I replaced about 4 years ago. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna go ahead. This is what FC Puro provides. Black light. If you guys haven't seen the M3 cow swap, this is the full swap and everything. Check out the DIY here above. We're gonna look down in here. So the oil cooler lines right here. We're gonna see if we see anything. Did have a little, when I would put my finger under. So we're gonna do this. You don't have to have it, to tell me that. Obviously I have some oil here. Have a little bit on the lines, and it might have not just made its way all the way out since I just changed it. So it's not showing up, of course, with that oil, but I did see a spot. So you see some of that down there? I'm almost thinking that it is coming through and it's splattering a little bit above my belt. See right there? Because I didn't spill it all the way down in there. So I'm almost thinking that it's splattering up a little bit and leaking from the oil lines, since obviously there's some oil there. So the next DIY I'll do, I'll take off the oil lines and put new O-rings on there and retorque everything down, since it's just getting wet there. And I'll look around once I get a lot of the stuff out of the way and see if the oil filter housing is leaking yet again. So with me owning this car for 6.5 years now, I've already went through and replaced a lot of the gaskets. But like I said, over time and age and during those heat cycles, you're gonna have a rubber gasket fail again. That's just what's gonna happen. Which in turn helps you guys, because if that's the case, then we'll film a DIY on replacing those oil line O-rings. So when I did the oil cooler gasket and oil filter housing gasket, I did do new oil O-rings for those oil lines. But like I said, that was quite a while ago. So I feel like this oil will help any newcomer, buying a BMW, just because it's gonna help you trace it back to exactly where the problem is. So that way you can know exactly which part, because sometimes when you're leaking oil all through the engine bay, it could be all over the place and you don't really know exactly the area that it's leaking at. Well, that does it for me today. Big thumbs up on this video. Check out the other DIYs that I have, other informational videos for the BMW, guys. Thanks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.